Greetings to you. I'm Brother James Muhammad, a student in the ministry of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and your host for this week's segment of Closing the Gap broadcast. I want to thank all of you who have decided to tune in this weekend, those of you who are regular attendants to the broadcast, and of course, we are hopeful that there are first-time participants to this broadcast. We welcome you all. For those of you who tune in regularly, you know that we always invoke the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God to whom all praise is due, the Lord of the worlds. We thank Almighty God Allah for his merciful and prophetic intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. We thank him for raising from our midst his messenger, Messiah, the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, through whom we have been given our beloved and blessed Redeemer. And I refer to him as my personal savior. The man of whom I speak is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It is to these men that we are deeply grateful. Yes, I said men, referencing the God himself, that we are deeply grateful and highly honored for this wonderful privilege to create a platform from which the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad can be taught by the profound students in the ministry and students of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam, one of which we are honored to host this evening. Our dear brother Darrell Muhammad, hailing, of course, from the southwestern region. I'm going to read his bio. Now, we're going to be talking about money. Generally, that would seem to be a departure from the spiritual content that we have heretofore been presenting to our viewing and listening audience, but not so. Our dear brother is going to show you and show us how it is congruent with the supreme wisdom and, of course, with the scriptures. And so, I'd like to start off. Well, first of all, I want to extend the mic to our dear co-hosts, my dear sister, Stala Muhammad, the managing editor of the Final Call newspaper. Sister Stala, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother James, Brother Chad, Brother Darrell. I'm so happy to be once again here on Closing the Gap. We want to, of course, welcome our viewing and listening audience and encourage everyone who is tuning in to make sure you share the broadcast. Let your family members and friends in your circle know that we are live. And if they have any questions that they would like to pose this evening to our guests, we know the topic of money and finance and economics is a topic that is very important and critical in our community. So we encourage those of you who are viewing, if you have any questions this evening, to please type your questions in the chat and we will strive to get through as many of those questions and pose those to our brother as possible. Thank you, and I will pass the mic to Student Minister Chad.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Thank you, Sister Stalin. Also want to share those same sentiments. We are happy, delighted, and excited to have our dear brother on to talk about this much needed subject. And also I want to extend the greetings to you, Brother Darrell, on behalf of our student regional minister, Brother Patrick Muhammad, and all of the believers of the 7th region. All right, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Please return the greetings, brother.
Praise be to Allah, inshallah.
All praise is due to Allah. We're very happy to have you, dear brother. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Of course, we want to read your bio as we read the bios of all of our honored and esteemed guests. I want to say beforehand, as I always do, that the bios that we are presented from our guests in no way encompass all of the great work that they have done and also the great help that they have been to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with our guests, perhaps Their bio will give you a little familiarity with our dear brother, and we will roll on. Let me read the bio. Brother Darrell J. Muhammad embodies dynamism and drive, excelling as a best-selling author, former stockbroker, and real estate strategist. He shares his insights globally, emphasizing the pivotal role of mindset in cultivating and sustaining wealth and financial security. And all of us need that. Brother Darrell graduated from Texas Southern University in 1990 with a BBA in marketing. He is a wealth mindset pioneer and the chief executive officer of Creative Home Buyers, LLC, the leading real estate investment and marketing company in the Houston area. Darrell is an author of The Money Game, So Black People Can Win and Dominate, as well as creator of educational podcasts, videos, ebooks, and webinars that engage customers and ignites their inner entrepreneur. Darrell has been a dedicated member of the Nation of Islam since 1992, serving as the Southwest Regional Investigator for an impressive 26 years and counting. For the past 5 years, excluding those affected by COVID, Brother Darrell has served as a senior member of the Sterling Committee for the Southwest Regional Singles Ministry. Brother Darrell hosted 154 episodes of the longest running YouTube show called Black Wealth Empowerment. The show was co-hosted with Brother Qiyam, Brother Rodney Assad, and Sister Brandy. Brother Darrell brings a perspective that speaks to the needs of people who desire to be extraordinary. Brother Darrell enjoys studying personal development books, helping others of the same mindset, and engaging with nature in the form of an occasional fishing trip. And you know, Brother Darrell, I have never been fishing in my life. And people have said that I don't know what I'm missing. I'm going to definitely have to do some, not that kind of fishing. Of course, I fish.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hopefully to be a fisher of men, but all praise is due to Allah. Welcome, 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 Brother Darrell Muhammad, to Closing the Gap broadcast.
Thank you so much, Brother James, Sister Starling, Brother Chad. It's my honor to be here on such a program like this. I don't know, and I'm pretty certain there's no other program out there, right, on YouTube or anywhere in space that has a program like this other than our broadcast from Chicago every Sunday. So I'm honored to be on here with you all and share some information with the audience and follow the many, many great guests of the Nation of Islam that have preceded me. So thank you all so very much.
Thank you. All praises due to Allah, and we are honored. Now, the scripture speaks of money in this way. In Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, the 19th verse, we read, "A feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things." Now, that is interesting. I want you to elaborate on your understanding of that. Many people would argue with us, argue with that scripture. Money doesn't answer us all things. But I know for a fact that 99.9% of our problems could be solved with more money. I know mine can. All praises
yes,
due
sir.
to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
absolutely,
sir.
Brother. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
For my 40 years of experience in this space of financial empowerment, whatever you want to call it, right? That is absolutely correct. It says, cureth all things. Yes, all things of matter, right? Yeah. Physical existence. So surely if your car breaks down, money will fix it. Surely if you have a leaky faucet, money will fix it. right? Not prayer, unless prayer is going to cause you to get up and go and do something to
Yeah.
produce some funds to fix your sink. So surely money can cureth all things. All things. Yes, absolutely, Brother James, without a doubt.
All praise is due to Allah. Now, our book, The Supreme Wisdom of the Nation of Islam, speaks to material wealth and luxury. Would you mind reading that particular problem? And it is a problem that we need to solve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Problem number 13. It reads, after learning mathematics, which is Islam, and Islam is mathematics, it stands true. You can always prove it at no limit of time. Then you must learn to use it and secure some benefits while you are living. That is luxury, money, good homes, friendships in all walks of life. Sit yourself in heaven at once. That is the greatest desire of your brother and teacher.
Actually, you can read that one more time so that it will sink into our minds.
Yes, sir.
Mine, and of course, our viewing and listening audience.
Well,
read it
Brother
one more
James,
time, brother, if you don't mind.
ironically that you asked me to read it again. If you all are going to your supreme wisdom, that is from my observation, the only thing that's mentioned twice. The problem number 13 is in the supreme wisdom twice.
That's right.
All right. So it says here, after learning mathematics, which is Islam, and Islam is mathematics, it stands true. You can always prove it at no limit of time. Then you must learn to use it and secure some benefit while you are living. That is luxury, money, good homes, friendships in all walks of life. Sit yourself in heaven at once. This is the greatest desire of your brother and teacher.
All praise is due to Allah. Now look at the connections with these words. Heaven, luxury, money, they all are connected. But also, it speaks to our obligation, not others' obligation to put us in heaven, but our obligation to set ourselves in heaven at once. Wow, that's wonderful.
Yes,
Continue,
sir.
Brother Darrell.
Yes, sir. What comes to my mind and what jumps out on the page, brothers and sisters, and those that are listening. So look what it says here. Sit yourself in heaven at once. This is the greatest desire of your brother and teacher.
Yeah.
So if that's Master Father Muhammad's greatest desire, not just desire,
Teach.
his greatest desire.
Greatest desire.
And if our job is to make our will, his will, make them one, then if it's his greatest desire, then what should be my greatest desire? What should be our greatest desire? To sit ourselves in heaven at once with those things that you just described. So if it's not in alignment with that, then our will and his will is not congruent.
That's right.
So we shouldn't say, oh, I'm good. I'm good. That's not what he said. He said his greatest desire
That's right.
is those things. So we have to condition and work our minds to line our minds up with him as that is concerned.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to turn the show over to our co-host, beginning, of course, with our dear sister Starla. But before I do, I want to say and remind us that there were 3 essentials of life that the enemy said he would never teach us. And of course, it was the science of mating, the science of warfare, and the science of business, which of course deals with the knowledge of how to handle and a profit with money. All praise is due to Allah. Sister Starla, you have the mic.
Yes, sir. Brother Darrell, there's another scripture in the Bible that talks about money, and it's a scripture that sometimes we often hear, or at least I've often heard slightly misquoted, where you will hear people say money is the root of all evil. But the exact wording, at least in the King James version of the Bible, says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with so many sorrows. Can you expand a bit or expound a bit on that scripture? Because again, that's one that we often, hear misquoted. And we know that, money, I mean, it's a tool. We need it to transact business, in our daily life. We needed to keep the lights on, to keep the gas on, to pay tuition if we've got children in school, etc. But can you talk a little bit about that particular scripture, that is the love of money?
Yes, ma'am. Well, sister, that's part of the slave making religion that was given to us when we came over here as slaves. And they took our religion from us, which was Islam. And they gave us this Europeanized Christianity. And they changed the Bible and changed the verses out of the Bible. And they gave it to us to appease them and to make us better slaves. And that's one of the scriptures of many. Slave, obey your master. If he asks for your coat, give it to him, and all this other crazy foolishness. And that's why God had to come. Master Father Muhammad had to come to break that grip and to change our thinking and recondition our minds.
Yeah.
That's why my book, sister, I tell people all the time, if you look at the title, The Money Game So Black People Can Win and Dominate, and if you go in with a preconceived notion, you're going to miss it. Because it's not talking about money per se, even though we use that language. It's really to cause a paradigm shift on how we look at money and to change the level of consciousness that we have to have. We can't raise our consciousness in one area, right, and not lift it in other areas, and not lift it in all areas and expect for the boat to float. It's not going to work like that. You got to plug up all holes. That's just something that was taught to us, and we continue to pass that on. But even more important, once we get rid of that knowledge, sister, we have to replace it with the correct knowledge. And that is the knowledge that I pray to Allah will help us to point our minds in that direction with my book.
Oh, praise be to Allah. And dear brother Darrell, before the book, before, being into real estate, the history of being a stockbroker, getting your degree, what led you on this path to say, okay, I want to deal with finances and in that business, accounting, or how it is that led you on this journey? What was your desire, and what motivated you to go this route?
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Yes.
So I would say prayer, but it's your upbringing. It always starts on how you were raised. And I was raised in a family where education was paramount. I grew up in San Francisco, California. Okay. So just to give you an idea, that's Northern California. That's an integrated society. So I grew up around all people, white and Filipinos and Samoans. So, I had the same thing they had. So whatever I saw them with, I believe that I can have. What I saw they do, I believe I can do. So I caught the real estate bug back in 1980, watching these infomercials. If you all remember, back in those days, they had an infomercial, real estate, no money down, on every channel, all day, Saturday and Sunday. So I would just used to watch. I was mesmerized. And you can imagine at 16 years old, that captured my mind. And it started me on that journey. And when I thought about coming to Houston and going to Texas Southern, I said, what can I do? What can my major be? And money came back into my mind. And so that's what caused me to pursue that in college, and started me on my journey, and, allowed me to become a stockbroker for 2 major Wall Street firms, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's how we got started, Brother Chad.
Praise be to Allah. My son just, he just graduated, got 2 degrees, one in finances and one in accounting himself. So he's working as an accountant at a job that he was an intern at. So yes, I can't wait to share with him the money game.
Oh, yes, yeah.
The money game, but thank you, dear brother.
He didn't learn it in school. What's in that book?
I'll let him know that. Praise be to Allah.
All right. Let's.
Brother Darrell.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Brother Darrell, what are some of the common, I guess, maybe myths or misconceptions or even confusion that you've noticed when it comes to particularly our people and our community when it comes to money, whether it is, balancing a budget, whether it is, just how we even view money. What are some of the things that you've run across over the years that are kind of like the top myths and misconceptions that often hem us up?
Yeah, that's a good question, sister. There's quite a few of them, but just to mention one, we have, the concept that money is what we need. If I can just get some money, right? We take money out of its place. Everything has its place and purpose. And money is not a fix-all, even though it cures all things, but there's other things that we need that money is out of place if we try to apply it, right? So what I say, and on the back of my book, I say that what Black folks need, we don't need any more techniques, strategies, cryptocurrency, Forex, stocks, real estate. We don't need any more of that knowledge. We got enough of that knowledge. What we need is what they call, and I got it from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, it's called resequent knowledge.
Yeah.
Not pre-resequent, resequent knowledge. Pre-resequent knowledge is something that has to happen first before something else can happen. The Civil Rights Bill had to be passed first before we can go to the lunch counters and the hotels, right? That's pre-resequent. But the minister used the word resequent. And we know the minister, he's precise in all of his language.
That's right.
So when you look that up, resequent means something needed for a particular purpose. Something needed for a particular purpose. And we call that in the Nation of Islam knowledge of self. So what is needed is that knowledge that we need as Black people in America, descendants of ex-slaves. We need that specific knowledge that comes prior to the general knowledge in order for us to really maximize what is given to the masses of the people. That's why we only can scratch the surface. Only a few of us get it right. Is because, as the messenger said, we don't have that root knowledge, that's the knowledge of self. We have to have the knowledge of self. We have to have a higher level of consciousness. And consciousness means being aware of your surroundings. So we have to be aware. We have to have a financial consciousness, not so much a financial literacy. Financial literacy is knowledge about finances, personal finances. Financial consciousness is being aware on how money moves in your surrounding and how it is used to affect people, places, and things. And that's the only way we can win and dominate, is understanding the money game on that level. So I can get into, do this, do that, and that, but until we have the resequent knowledge, understand, like you said, where did this come from? Money is the root of all evil, right? We have to get to the root. And if we study, we'll see that these forkways and things we have is passed down from our experience of slavery. And we read it in our book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, right? Put money in the bank, they robbed the bank. So now Black folks kept money and they didn't trust banks. See, so these type of things has happened to us. So as, we don't come and correct them institutionally, because it has to change institutionally, because that's what affected us. It affected us through institutions. So that is the knowledge we have to have, sisters. We have to get that the resequent knowledge. So then that way we can see money and use money as a tool of our empowerment, and not just buy more of the same, right? More cars, bigger cars, more clothes, better clothes. Right. Not that kind of thing. Not that kind of thing. That's not going to solve our problem.
Praises to Allah. Now, I do want to remind our viewing and listening audience that this is an interactive broadcast. We want you to engage our dear brother with questions. Don't go to sleep. I know when we start talking about money, oftentimes we lose interest because we don't have any. Mm-hmm. So, but we need to learn more about money. Mm-hmm. Dear brother Darrell, you spoke about wrote about in your book, this wonderful book, The Money Game, how to so Black people can win and dominate. You spoke about a woeful lack of an essential component of life, which is the ability to maximize ethnically, or for want of a better word, racially, our cultural sameness and to extract from our history of suffering here in America, as other ethnic people do, to maximize the benefit of our future. I'd like you, if you would, elaborate on that. How can our suffering, it's an interesting point, but how can the knowledge of our suffering, particularly in the transatlantic slave experience, benefit us in terms of money?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Brother James. I put that on the back of my book. We have to be like the Jewish people who have used their experience of the Holocaust to empower themselves, to use it as a way to keep them together, right? As a Jewish people, to keep them on code, if you will, keep them pointing towards the same direction, keep them having the same purpose. And what is that purpose? As we heard him say, never again, never again. So everything that they do is with that in mind. So every move they make, right, as a group of people, not individually, but as a group of people, every move they make. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said he admires the Jews.
That's right.
Because they're 2% of the population, but run, industries. Is because they take that suffering and they use that to appeal to people, to get the sympathy of people, to win people over to their case, all right? To help us to make sure this never happens again. And to go to other ones and say, we can't let this ever happen again. Look at our forefathers. Look what they happened. They put us in the gas chamber, where there's no atrocity in the history of the world that has been worse than the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade. So if they garnered that much power from their suffering of the Holocaust, then how much power can we draw from our suffering of over 400 years and millions and millions and millions went overboard during the transatlantic route? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it like this. He said, our unity is more powerful than a nuclear and atomic bomb. That's the power that we can get from taking that experience and using it to bind and get the world to support us and help us. And God has given us the Jewish people as an example. All we have to do is follow that model and the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and it will work for us.
Oh,
Praise be to Allah. And dear brother, I know you mentioned about that. You keep mentioning about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If you don't mind, could you share how the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, how it affected you in this journey, and just the wins of having the teacher? Because sometimes we know, we see those that into I put it like this, that's more wealthier than others, but still blowing out their brains, still struggle for balance, as far as a father with their children. They might have more money than they have time, so for that struggle for balance and that spiritual part, the moral part, because sometimes we can have money and it's almost like we're better off not having it, in that case of what we did with the money, because now we're on a journey that took us farther away from God. And it remind me of sometimes how it is used, in the Bible. Remember, I was just talking about Bible quotes, but remember they say the Bible says it's easier for a camel to go in the eye of through the eye of a needle than a rich man can enter the kingdom of heaven. So can you just expound how the teachings, how moral, how ethics, helps us, and even with having money or going after, for the right reason and so forth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Without a doubt, Brother Chaz, if it was not for the teaching of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, through the example of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I won't be where I am today. I'll be part of statistic, I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because the teaching gives us the knowledge and the tool and what we need to navigate through this theater of war as Black men and Black people in America that we're going through. But we have to follow his lead. So the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has allowed me to take what is in my heart, my desire, my personal aspirations, and given me a bigger objective, right? Something bigger than myself. It has taken the lid off of my thinking beyond that which the world would ever give me, right? Is because we have been given the truth. The absolute truth has been given to us. And then we have examples throughout the history of the Nation of Islam. What happens to a man or a woman when they engulf themselves into the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and follow the example of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Whatever field of endeavor that we aspire to be in, we can look at the minister and see an example on how we should carry that out. He told us a couple years ago for his birthday, I think it was last year. May Allah be, blessed him to see another one here coming up pretty soon.
Yes,
he said,
sir.
if you want to be successful, he said, you follow me or you pattern yourself after me. He didn't say what kind of success. He said success. So the minister has shown us if we look and study and look for the lesson in it, then I can see what's in it for me as far as what should I do with this knowledge? Because I'm of the belief, brothers and sisters, Allah, if he gives you a unique blessing, you have unique responsibility. If he gives you a blessing that's bigger than yourself, then he didn't give it to you just for yourself. He gave it to you so others can benefit as well. So that's what we have to do. And we have the greatest job that has been given to any man, as we are taught in the annals of history. And that's to resurrect the mentally dead, but to establish a nation, a new kingdom, the kingdom of God. And you need a lot of money to establish that, right? Yes. The minister said Savior's Day, right? He was trying to, he was wanted $75,000 and he got a message from the Christ said, you need billions, brother. $75,000 is not going to do anything. So, Brother Chad, if it wasn't for the teachings and if it wasn't for the minister being the ultimate example, I'll be like everybody else. Cars and all that foolishness. But see, that's the game. That is the game. That is the game that they play. Those that play the money game to win and dominate, you don't see them flexing in their Rolls Royce.
Come on.
You don't see Warren Buffett on his plane, and you don't see them doing that. That's not what they do. They don't want to be made targets and all that kind of stuff. And plus, that's superficial. Once you get past a certain amount of money, right, and a certain level of luxury, there's nowhere else you can go. All you can do is get another Rolls Royce or another private jet. But you can't just continue to go up, and that's what I learned as a stockbroker. I used to look at these accounts with millions and millions. I said, why are these white folks still trying to get money? And Allah allowed me to find out the answer. And that's what I share in the book for us to read. Because it's not about money. It's not about money. Right. It's about freedom. That's what it's about.
Freedom. Yes.
Right? They take your mind off of freedom by giving you a lot of money and telling you that's it. That's what you need. Right. And once again, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our example. Right? He's not the richest man in the world. But he's the freest.
Without a doubt.
Right. Without a doubt.
He's the freest. So that's what it has done for me, brother. It has allowed me to see things as they are.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you for that answer, dear brother.
Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah. I'd like us to talk about that which ill affects us historically, because we do have money. Collectively, we have, I don't know what the amount is now. I've heard upwards of $1 trillion, $1.2 trillion. In your book, you mentioned that we effectively are richer than Spain as a nation, Black people here in America, I'm talking about. But there is something about us that does not allow us to unite to maximize the benefit of what we know or what we have. And we have become the #1 consumers here in America, perhaps in the world, but definitely here in America. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan shared with us in his magnificent series, The Time and What Must Be Done, how we became the #1 consumers here in America. And he talked about the misuse and abuse of the monies that we put in the stewardship or in the hands of whites and banks and other financial institutions. Now, as a result of our abuse or our being abused, we no longer trust those institutions, but we also no longer trust each other. Very notably is that with all of the money that we have, we can't seem to unite to buy the institutions that we need as a people here in America, educational and of course otherwise. But how do we combat that? How do we combat this distrust now that has spilled over from our distrust of the enemy, that now has spilled over into our distrust of one another and impedes our ability to unite our resources? How do we combat that?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Osama Elijah Muhammad, minister, said it's because of the lack of trust. We don't trust each other.
Right.
Well, brother, you know, we have to, those of us, and I use this term very loosely, the righteous striving ones of us who's about this life. Right. We need to play on a bigger scale. We need to be an example. We need to come together, right, to offset the mistrust. See, the problem that I see is that we don't have enough righteous options to invest, enough righteous options to take advantage of financially, and it leaves too many of the unrighteous options, right? So it's like in our community, right? You got all these bad food places in our community, these fast food joints, right? When you get hungry, you know what I'm saying? Within our community, we can't find anything healthy to eat. So we're forced to eat bad food because it's a food desert. Well, it's the same thing financially, as far as financial opportunities. There's not enough of them, not enough black banks, right? Not enough real estate investment groups that are righteous, as doing it right and being 100% transparent. Like I said, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our example. The Million Man March, what did he do? He had an independent black CPA firm audit.
That's right.
The Million Man March books, went public with it, and he gave us pamphlets to give out to the people. You call that a model? And they say of old, that's hint to the wise is sufficient. That's a hint on how we should conduct ourselves to regain the trust of the people. So we have, just like things are done to lose trust, things have to be done to gain the trust back. And you have to go to extra effort to gain the trust, because you already have pushback from, you know, the distrust that has been established already. So it's an uphill battle, but we need more of us that are righteous to put out there, like the messengers say, don't condemn the dirty glass, raise up a clean glass next to it. Now people have a clear choice to make. So we have to do that, brother. We have to put love in our heart, right? And I have a pledge in the back of my book, a Black Economic Pledge, Black Empowerment Pledge. And it talks about that. It helps us to reshape our mind and our thinking. And we have to do those things. And we have to make it a life mission, right? It can't be something for money. It has to be something bigger than money. And what is that for ex-slave people? Freedom. We shouldn't care about nothing but freedom, being ex-slaves, right? If you're hungry, you want food. You're not looking for water if you're hungry. You're looking for water if you're thirsty, right? So we should be looking for freedom, Brother James. And that's what we have to do. And we have to see it as a tool. It's a means to an end. It's not the end. It's a means to an end. Okay. So we just have to want to do it more than what's against us.
All praise is due to Allah. Okay, back to my esteemed co-host. Do we have any questions in the audience?
Let me see here. I don't see any as of yet. Let me scroll. But I do definitely have a question. Brother Darrell, you mentioned that the number one pillar of the money game is income, and that everything starts with income, and that we don't have an expense problem, we have an income problem, and that the country, America, has an income problem. Can you expound upon that a little bit, and then also talk about, you often hear, the importance of having multiple streams of income, as opposed to, grinding away on your regular 9 to 5. Can you give some tips on how do we go about looking at areas of multiple streams of income, and what does that entail?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, sister. Well, when it comes to the money game, and particularly to win and dominate, right? We have to go deep. We have to really think about what it is that has been given to us as far as information, and process it, right? And I'll start with the latter. Multiple streams of income. That's true, right? But you don't start there. You don't start in multiple streams. You get good at one stream, then you expound, right? And then you want those streams to be related, right? Symbiotic. So it's not too far from what you're already doing. It's related. So many times one source of income can feed into another, feed into another, feed into another, because they're symbiotic. They connect together. See, so it requires us to have a understanding. That's why the scripture says, of all these things, get ye understanding. So we can understand what is multiple stream, why is it important, how do you implement it, right? And what do you do with it, right? What do we do with these multiple streams of income? For what? To do what with it, right? So we have to have a more comprehensive knowledge and understanding of the money game, right? Another way to look at it is we have to get off what I call the front end. We stay on the front end, get the bag, get the bag, get the bag. Okay, what after that? What after that do you do? Get the bag, get the bag. Okay, we got that. But after that, what do you do? Mm-hmm. See, we don't have that plan laid out. So therefore, you're paying too much taxes. I got that in the book, right? You're paying too much taxes. And then you go out and you just become a bigger consumer, because nobody is really telling us, what do we do with this money that we going out here to get? And how do the big boys, what do they do with the money when they get it, right? How do we not pay taxes? We say what the Muslims want in the back of the final call. We should be exempt from taxes. Yeah, but that ain't going to happen. So what are we going to do in the meantime? We're going to find out what laws that the big boys use, tax laws that they use to pay next to zero taxes. And we can do the same thing too. Nobody's stopping us from doing that. Donald Trump ain't stopping us from doing that. See what I'm saying? So somebody got to tell us what to do after we get the bag. If not, just like we say about reparations, right? If they gave us reparations today, 30 minutes from now, we'll give it right back to them, because nobody ever tells us what to do with it. Back to your point, Brother James, because everybody wants to keep us as consumers. Keep us as consumers. Everybody getting rich off us being a consumer. So it's not in anybody else's best interest to curtail our consuming, except for us. Except for us. Mm-hmm. And I would say this very humbly, brothers and sisters. The Nation of Islam, we are the vanguard for our people. So this book is, for Black people in general, but really for us in the Nation of Islam, so we can pick up this mantle. Those of us that have that desire now, if your thing is bean pie, then go make you some bean pie. But, if that is what, you believe that God has called you to be an example in the midst of our people for around money, then let's play it to win and dominate, because we are the vanguards for our people, right? We are the ones that they can trust. We are the ones that they can depend on. We are the ones that can lead them to the promised land. And we need some money. We need some money. So that's what I would say, sisters. Yeah, it's good. But the interesting thing about it, and that's why this book includes metaphysics, sales, marketing, quote from the minister, quote from the messenger, self-help, So 99% of most money books don't go like that. They don't cover that, especially from our perspective. How many Black authors, Black men, write about money to win and dominate, right? Been on his journey 40 years, stockbroker, real estate investor, and been in the Nation of Islam 32 years. See, all that goes into the spirit of the book. That's why I know for sure it's not like 99.9% of many other money books out there, because you don't have that in those other money books, right? They don't have that. This is to awaken our spirit. So once we get the money, we'll know what to do with it. We'll know what to do with it. And it's so we can be free.
All praises due to
Allahu Akbar. Thank you, dear brother. We got questions coming in. I'm going to go ahead and post this one from our dear brother, Coach Dexter. All right. He said, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has told us that we are at the end of the end, meaning that we are at the very end of Satan's rule and the U.S. dollar. Do you suggest we invest in alternative currencies such as crypto or BRICS?
Thank you for that question, Brother Dexter. Yes, sir. I have a strong opinion about that. I'll just tell you what the minister told us many, many years ago. He said, take these Benjamins and pull them together and let's go out and buy America, because America's for sale. Go out and buy some land. Buy some land. That's what we need to do with this dollar. Now, as far as crypto and Brink, well, Brick is something different. Here's the thing, brother, Coach Dexter. We have to try to encapsulate as much of all the teachings that we can when it comes to a particular thing, as we're talking about the U.S. dollar, right? If you're going to get into cryptocurrencies and all that you got to understand it on a bigger scale. See, once again, we always on the front end, right? To make more money, it's going to go down. I can put it over there. You saw how crypto gone up, and it's bigger than that. See, I was a stockbroker by Allah's grace. See, so I can look at things differently. I see how the big boys who have millions of dollars in cryptocurrency, they call it a pump and dump in the stock market. They'll come out in the news, what's the name, to own the Dallas Mavericks and stuff. He'll come out and pump up crypto. So you can buy it and run it up. You don't never hear him. He don't never tell you when he sell. See what I'm saying? You got to understand the game on a bigger scale. And then, brother, if you read the book, what's the name of that book? About Jekyll Island. What's the name of that book?
Creature from Jekyll Island?
Creature from Jekyll Island.
Yes.
So you trying to tell me that the World Bank's going to let somebody come up with a way to bypass them and go around them? So there's a bigger game being played. When the World Banks are the one that control the world. They're the one that feed wars and finance wars and things of that nature. So you going to tell me that they're going to let somebody be smart and come up with a way to hook all these computers together, and they just going to say, oh, well, I guess they just outsmart us, and they killing people by the millions around the planet? No, brother, don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Know that that's a trick and that's a game, man. That's a trick. They're going to pump it up, run it up, and they're going to figure it out and see how they can overtake it and make it their currency. And we don't even know who started cryptocurrency. Don't even know the Asian guy. They're not for certain who started that thing. Somebody had to start it, right? So we have to understand these things, brother, and stop, and I'm not saying you, but we as a people, see, we always the ones that they make the money from. And when they start selling, we get held holding the bag.
That's right, brother.
We get held holding the bag because we don't want to do what the messenger said. He said, go buy land. When we going to do that? He said, go buy land. That's what he said. So we want to get money, do everything else, but what the Christ told us to do, and that's go buy land. So we're not going to be successful. Your cake not going to come out like it's supposed to. You follow half the recipe.
Good point.
So, brother, crypto, yeah, okay. You make the money and do what with it? It goes up 1,000%, and then you do what? Right? And then there's a world economy, right? It's a world economy. See, it's about world dominance now. That's what the wars are about that you see right now. These people playing chess. They trying to get territory. So, get it for the income, brother, but make sure you have a bigger plan than just getting more money, because we'll never get as much as they have. That's why we refer it as the poor righteous teachers in the supreme wisdom, because we'll never have as much as them. I hope that answered your question.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, dear brother.
We've got another question I'll place on the screen, Brother Darrell. This is from Brother Tyrone H. Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Darrell. Can't wait to purchase your book. We know the nation has a plethora of problems that we are obligated to help solve for our people. What would it take to get economic-like minds together to seriously commit to a ministry of commerce that would be active daily and year-round? Do for self-enterprises.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Tyrone. Thank you very much. You can go to themoneygamebook.com. Go there. I give you 2 free gifts when you give me your name and email address, and you go to the second page, you can order the book there. All right, but make sure you go to themoneygamebook.com, because that's coming. That way you can get on my mailing list, and we can do exactly what you're saying. We can get together, right? Formulate ideas and put things into practice. Well, brother, I think, brother Tyrone, what we have to understand, right? And examples are all around us. It doesn't take a lot of people. It just takes the right few. It just takes the right few. You've heard the wealth gap, and 3% and 5% of the wealthiest people own 90% of the world's wealth. That's just a handful of people. We just need a handful of the right people, and then we can move the masses. I heard it's been said over the years, Brother James and Brother Chad and Sister Star, you've heard it probably before, I'm sure, right? The nation was never meant to be a mass movement.
Yeah, we've heard that. Yes,
it was just meant to move the masses. You see what I'm saying? So we got to, that's what I'm saying. We have to level up our consciousness, level up our game, and see how the ones that run the world, it ain't but a few. When the minister sent out our book, Secret Relationship, Blacks and Jews, he sent it out to the Jewish organizations. How many of them was there? About 12? 12. That have the whole country locked down, the Congress people, everybody. Just 12. So we don't need that many. We don't need that many to move the masses. And it's never the masses that lead. There's always a few that lead. So brother Tyrone, get a two or few, get together, keep it private. See, that's another thing. We too public. You can't win and dominate in front of cameras and having press conference. That's not what they do.
That's right.
When the last time, the ADL had a press conference just letting you know, okay, this is our plan, this is what we gonna do. Or any organization. We do that. So we have to, like I said, it's more than about money. We have to get wise and see how the big boys play it, how they play to win and dominate, and say, okay, well, good, I can play like that, but way down here with the resources I have. But you're still playing on the level to win and dominate. You just don't have the masses resources.
Wow, praise be to Allah. Thank you, sir. We're going to keep the questions going.
Yes, please.
All right. This is from our dear brother Dennis. And he put two parts to it because he corrected something that's in this one. But he asked the question, he said, how do you change the mindset of material? And it should have been a mindset of materials giving us value, material items, giving us value.
Yeah, right. Well, brother, someone else gave that material item value. An independent mind and independent people give their own value to things. They don't let somebody else tell them, oh, this Mercedes is worth this much. Why is it worth that much? You might agree, but it's with knowledge and understanding. And then it might not be worth that much to you because you have other priorities in place. You change the mindset of anybody with correct knowledge, correct information. You have to bust up the myth. You have to bust up the miseducation and replace it with the right education. That's why Message to the Black Man starts off with, who is that mystery God? First two chapters, because the messenger knew he couldn't teach you nothing else until he got that falsehood out the way. So same thing with money. That's why resequent knowledge, not resequent knowledge. We got to get that foolishness out the way that's unique to Black people about money. Right? And so we can get it out the way. So now we can get the right information and it can grow freely because you got the weeds out of the way. You got the weeds out the garden. So brother, we have to change our mindset with the correct information. So I would say humbly get my book. It's only designed to cause a paradigm shift and to pull the cover off the thinking so you can do your own discovery.
Yes, sir. The questions keep coming, so we'll keep on rolling. We've got a question from Brother Michael, who states, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that, quote, we are weak financially because our work is weak, end quote. Can this be tied to our lack of financial ignorance also? If so, please explain.
Yeah, it's hard to work. And in my book, I call it take massive action. Right? It's hard to take massive action or work to the level of progress when you have bad information. You have misinformation, right? We're ignorant. Your confidence is not there to put your all into it. And that's how we can get hoodwinked and bamboozled and robbed for money and misled because we're too ignorant to try to do the thing that we're trying to do. So there's financial consciousness and financial literacy. We need both. Financial literacy of the knowledge of personal finances, credit, debt, that kind of thing, right? Financial consciousness, conscious mean being aware of your surroundings, meaning that you see how money works. You see how money is used in society. You see how money is used in politics. You see how money is used in education. You see you see where it's used all around you. And now you can see where your money is being used against you, against us. And then now we can make a conscious choice on how we can pull back our money out of those hands of those that don't care nothing for us and put it in the hands of those who do. So yes, absolutely. We cannot work in confidence, being ignorant, because then that means you have to rely on somebody else with the knowledge, and you don't know, we don't know if he has our best interests in heart.
Mm-hmm. Praise be to Allah. Thank you, dear brother. This next question comes from our dear brother Tony Muhammad at our regional headquarters. And I know you touched base a little on this earlier, but if you can expound on it, he asked the question. Assalamu alaikum, dear brother. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us about the importance of maintaining a moral, spiritual component when it comes to economics and finances. Can you speak about how keeping this approach in regards to development of self, family, community, and nation?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Tony. Good seeing you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. You know, morality, we got to understand we're living in Satan's world. And if we don't have a strong moral compass, then we're going to be victim to the wiles of Satan. Right? It's no way of getting around it. We have to have a strong moral compass. And that can only come from Allah God, who came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad. We have to be able to make choices. We have to be able to choose right over wrong, no matter how much money is involved, no matter what brings with it. If it's not right, I'm not going to do it. So we always have to have the strength, the moral fortitude, the moral strength to say no to the very thing that we want. Right? The Quran says Allah will try us with the things that we want, what we desire. So if we want money and desire, he's going to try us with that. So we should be prepared and ready for that. Now, as far as the development of self, family, community, well, that's playing to win and dominate. You don't have to play to win and dominate to have trinkets, to have creature comforts, the floss, as the young folks say, to have your drip together. See, it don't require all that extra stuff that's required to win and dominate. But if you're trying to win and dominate for self, secure self first. Charity starts at home, then spreads abroad, then your family, right? Now the community, that's playing to win and dominate. That's why I say we have to have a financial consciousness to see how our money is being used in our environment to control what we see that we don't like, what we see that we do like, so we'll know how to direct our money to make a change. I talk about in my book. You know, you hear it all the time. It's going to come up more and more now as we get close to the national election, right? If you don't vote, you can't complain. You don't vote, you can't complain. We've heard that, right?
Yes, sir.
And I say in my book, I said, that's a lie. That's a straight up lie. And I was on an interview last week and the sister, brought that up. I said, you know how that's a lie, sister? I said, okay, let's go through it. Politicians, right? They get voted into office. Now they have an office. They have an office. They have a staff. They have a budget. They have expense, line items, right? Depending on if it's state or local, state or federal, they have several offices. They got a bigger budget. They got bigger staff. Well, the question is, who pays for that? Where does that money come from to pay their staff? Then they come to your city to cut a ribbon and give the key to somebody. They're not traveling by themselves. They travel at least with, I'm sure, one staff member. Mm-hmm. They're not staying in the Hampton Inn. I'm sure they're not. And I'm sure they're not going to Golden Corral. I'm sure they're not. That's why they want to be politicians all their life. That's the best job you can have in America, other than working for some multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar company. That's why they're living off America. They're living off the budget. So who pays for all of this? You know who pays for it? It's not the people that vote. It's the taxpayers. The taxpayers where they get their budget from. So as long as you're paying local taxes, you got something to say. As long as you're paying state taxes, you got something to say.
Come on, bro.
On some of that money going to the federal, you got something to say. It matters not who voted you in. See, that's a game that they play.
Praise be.
That's a game. Somebody, like the minister, somebody got exposed to game, brother. That's the game. Don't go for that. Then you obligated because they die. Well, folks die so we can drink alcohol. You gonna drink alcohol too? See, we got to free up our mind. We've been enslaved.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Thank you Thank you, dear brother, and thank you, Emily Muhammad, for that wonderful comment right there. Praise be to Allah. All right.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. All right.
Brother Darrell, one of the additional points that stands out in your book is I chuckled when I saw it because I can remember being eons ago, a college freshman, and up on campus, there was a table. You could get a credit card as a 18-year-old freshman. Just sign here. And I think the credit limit was something that might have been like $1,000. So of course, as a college student, you might have have said that was $1 million. So I signed up and got the credit card. And I'll spare the gory details, but can you can you talk about, you have a section entitled "What Are Credit Cards For?" And I think so often, that can become a problem because we sign up for these credit cards. They've got the different interest rates, and we think, okay, well, I can go ahead and pay the minimum of, $25 a month. I bought a flat screen TV, and then if you're not looking at the fine print, you've ended up paying for that flat screen 2 or 3 times. Can you talk about credit cards, the do's and the don'ts? How can they work in our favor? When you should possibly get one, or when you should be like, you know what, if you can't pay cash for it, don't get a credit card.
Yes, ma'am. Well, the bottom line to that is, Sister Starla, is in order to win and dominate, or just win at the money game, we have to have discipline, right? If we don't have no discipline, it doesn't matter. It's really, the game's over, right? So we have to build up discipline, financial discipline. But credit cards, as I say in the book, we have to understand credit cards first came out for rich people for convenience, right? So they want to be packing around a checkbook and a whole purse full of money because they can lose that, people can rob them. So it was used for convenience, right? For the rich to have a little card, have 10,000, 5, 20,000, whatever limit, and go. And then they just had the card, right? If somebody stole it, they called it up and stopped the charge, and they paid it off every month. But then, the banks who issued a card, right, got smart and said, well, shoot, we need to, it ain't, we making a little money and they might carry a small balance, but, if we give it to these people that we know are irresponsible, right? Give it to the masses. We know so we gonna make money off their interest. That's why interest is usury in the Holy Quran and among Muslims. So they do that, and they take advantage of people because people don't have the discipline, right? They don't have the discipline to use it properly. Use it, pay it off. 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 And furthermore, we have to understand, see, that's what I say, financial consciousness. We have to understand where we are. We're in America. America's is a big mall, right? America's a big mall. We have to understand this is a consumer nation. It prides itself. Why do you think people come from around the world to America? Because it's about the money, because they know we are consumers. Then why do you think they come to the Black community? Because we're the #1 consumers in America. See, so once again, having financial consciousness and seeing how you're being played, that should upset us enough to say, you know what? I'm gonna stop being played. Yeah, I'm getting these little trinkets, but I'm getting played. I don't have financial wherewithal for my children, so they don't get substandard education. They don't get substandard, but we got the money, like you said, Brother James, $1.3 trillion. We got the money.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is we're letting America, the culture of America, seduce us. It seduces us out of our money. It seduces us out of our morals. It seduces us. That's why we are taught, and the messenger taught, and the minister teaches. We got to separate. We got to separate because the force is too strong. We can't live among him and be totally clean like God came to make us. We can't. We can't.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, dear brother. We're going to pose another question for our dear brother and avid listener of Closing the Gap, Luqman Muhammad. The question is asked, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, get 4 or 5 like-minded people and pool your resources. I don't know a more alike mind than those who say Allah God came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad. May you expound on the importance of us carrying out this instruction.
Yeah. Says in the scripture, right? Say be and it is. If you know those people, go to them, right? Talk to them. Mm-hmm. Gods get together and share their vision with each other. And they find gods who have, similar visions. And then they put their resources together. Everybody got resources. And they put their resources together. And then they manifest that what they saw in their minds as independent, separate gods. And they come together and become a greater God. And they materialize that what they have visioned in their minds. So we just have to come together. And we have to know there's forces against us and be prepared for those forces, internally and externally. And we have to deal with them. So we have it. We just need to do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, as they say. We just have to do it. Stop talking about it and be about it and just do it.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, dear brother.
Thank you, brother Luke. Yeah.
Brother Darrell, I'd like to ask you about a concept that you wrote about in the book regarding being activated by, of course, receiving money or coming across money. And you made a very profound example in that you shared with the reader that even a person who is out in the street asking for money or begging for money, if you will, once he receives or she receives that money, they are activated. Could you expound on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Brother James. Thank you. Yeah, the money, everybody plays the money game. Everybody. I said everybody. Even a homeless person. When you pass by, stop at the light, stop at the stop sign, you see a homeless person, you give them $1, you just activated them into the money game. Now the question is, how are they going to play? What rules they have? What's their objective for that dollar? But they've been activated. They've been activated with little or no knowledge that would empower them. Knowledge, as Minister Farrakhan, is supposed to bring out of you that which is in you to empower yourself, that God put in you. See, so you give it to your little daughter, your little grandbaby. They don't know what to do with it. They just know to take it.
They know that much.
Right? See, yes. So everybody plays the money game.
Yes.
Right? And in the consumer economy like we live in, the only thing that they're going to teach you is how to spend it as fast as you can. Just imagine when I was coming up, and some of us on the line, remember, they didn't have 24-hour stores and TV wasn't on 24 hours.
That's right.
But now, if you want to spend your money, something's going to be open for you to spend your money, no matter what time of day it is. Right? So everybody wants your money. So yeah, Brother James, everybody plays the money game. So the question is, introspectively speaking, ask yourself, okay, what rules did I play by? But more importantly, where did I get those rules from? You didn't learn them in school. You didn't learn them in church and mosque. Did you learn them in your social environment? Did you learn in your sorority fraternity? So when we look at where we got this idea and concept of money, then we can better understand why it's not taking us where we need to go. We got 1.3 trillion. We're the most educated Black people from the Africa diaspora anywhere in the world. And this is what we got to show for. This is what we have to show for, and that's why we should have an attitude, man. We should want to win and dominate, because this is unacceptable. I'm not showing too well for my forefathers who bled and died and sacrificed so I can be here.
Yeah. Thank you for that, there, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let me say this. Here's another concept that I want to make sure we get over to our listening audience, Brother James, Brother Chad, and Sister Starla. I say in the book, and it's very interesting, what is your God-given financial potential? Well, I ain't never heard that before. What is your God-given financial potential? God has a financial potential for you, Brother Chad, Sister Starla, Brother Chad. God got one for you? Well, we read it earlier, didn't we? Problem number 13.
That's right.
But for those that don't have the supreme wisdom, I say to you, does God want you to be hungry, naked, and out of doors? No. All right. So he don't want you to be hungry, naked, and out of doors. And the question is, then what above that does God want for you? What above being homeless he wants for you? What above riding your bike everywhere or walking everywhere? How much above that? What potential does he have for you? Financial potential does he have for you? If we all can say he doesn't want us to be homeless, naked, and out of doors, then that means he has something greater than that for us. He has something greater for that. So it's our job to determine what that is without giving up our morals, without selling our soul to Satan, because he's gonna come and offer you now. Don't he wouldn't do his job if he saw you coming up and he didn't offer you some money for your soul, some power for your souls, you know, some influence for your soul. He wouldn't be Satan if he didn't do that. That's why at the lower level, we conquer the Satan in us. So as we rise financially and we meet with these bigger Satans, hopefully we'll have enough strength to overcome him. Because as they say, if the enemy in you can't stop you, then the enemy outside of you can't stop you.
That's right.
But we got to conquer the enemy inside of us. That's why I said that book is not like 99.9% of any other money book. Ain't nobody gonna tell you that in the money book. They too busy trying to tell you how to get the front end, get more money, 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 get more money. You know, that's what a pig does. Just eating. Don't know when to stop eating. They'll go get more money and more money and more money. Don't know when to stop getting money and then do something with it other than spend it, get rid of it. See, consumerism is a bad concept. It's a very bad concept. We treat money, as I said, okay, Brother James, I'm going to say it. All right, you ready?
Go ahead.
They say money is like a woman.
Yeah.
You treat her bad, she going to leave you. You don't want her, she eventually going to leave. Yeah. That's how money is. We just get money. We get rid of money so fast. I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you. We misuse money. We mistreat money. So money be like, man, I'm out of here. I'm going to go to those folks that know what to do with me, that respects me, that treats me right, that sends me out in to multiply myself and come back with more. So those are money. So it's not has nothing to do with you being wicked or righteous. It has everything to do with understanding and working within the laws of the universe that Allah has created. It's called the law of reciprocity, right? Called law of reciprocity. You send bad out, bad gonna come back.
Yeah.
So that's how you win and dominate the money game. You should be thankful that you got bills coming in. I say that in my book. Where they teach you that at? Homeless people don't have no bills. You rather be homeless and don't have no bills?
Mm-mm.
All right. Thank you for the bills, Lord.
Brother Darrell, throughout your book, you reference some other authors for people to look into. Our brother Claude Anderson and others. Why was that important as you were writing and compiling and researching your book? Why was it important for you to also, put in there, look, these are some other books, some other authors and folks that you may want to check out? And besides our brother Claude Anderson, are there other financial or economic, experts that you recommend that people check out?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister. I wouldn't expect anything less from an editor of the Final Call newspaper than ask, why did I mention other authors and other books, right? Well, sisters, because, too often, right? We know this to be the fact. Too often people take the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and quote it as if it's theirs. They don't give credit where credit is due. And I didn't want to be one of those because I'm not wise. I met a wise man, but I'm not wise, right? So I wanted to let the people know that I'm not one of them that's going to quote. I quote my mentors, my network marketing mentors, right? So I quote as many people as I could remember where the quote came from, because it's not me. It's not me. I got pieces of the puzzle. I got pieces along the way, right? Got pieces, and I accumulate them and put it together into an idea, into a philosophy. Right. So that's what we have to, but give credit from which you got the information from. Don't take it like everybody else take it and want to make it seem like. Now, if you ask them, they might tell you, but they don't let you know where they got it from for whatever reason. But to me, I think that's vanity to a certain extent. And I don't want to participate in that, because then God had chastised me, because he didn't give me this for me to puff up myself, right? He didn't do that. So, but if they want to know more, get the book, go to themoneygamebook.com, get the book, have, throughout the chapter, you see different books. And then the back, I have a resource page, and you can go to my website, darrellmuhammad.net/library. And there's a list of books that I recommend in different areas, sales, and, Claude Anderson books is in there, and some others. So there'd be it's a good mixture of books that I recommend. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Praise be to Allah. Inside of your book too, Brother Darrell, and I quote this, you said, here's the number one way to increase your income and have passive or residual income. You say you trade money for time. You said poor people in the middle class trade time for money. Wealthy people who understand passive or residual income trade their money for time.
Right.
Could you expound on that, dear brother?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Chad. That's a good one. Very simply, brothers and sisters, freedom means just that. If you're free, you have time freedom. You have space freedom. And if you don't have that already, then you have to buy your time, because you don't have it already. So you have to buy your time. So we have to invest in things that will create income for us, absence of our sole effort to create it. And then you constantly, just imagine you take every third dollar you make and you put it somewhere like a seed in the ground that eventually will grow and then give money back to you. Versus get all your money and you spend on your light bill, your gas bill, your water bill, that you have to turn around the next month and do it all over again, pay your light bill, your gas bill, your water bill, right? So so people that have freedom in their mind, they want to buy back their time. We experienced that, but it didn't work. Once again, Brother James, see our experience here in America, sharecropping, right? But we never got out of debt.
That's right.
See? So now we feel some kind of way about, trusting people, right? And then, they always use us against us and things of that nature. So yeah, bro, we have to have the mindset. How can I buy back my time? That's the only way I'm gonna be free. I have to buy back my time. Meaning that if you work 40 hours to make a certain amount, how can I make that same amount, right? Same amount every month, not trading time for that money. Robert Kiyosaki said when him and his wife had enough income producing real estate, had enough income to replace their job, they quit their job. At that point, you become financially free. But he went on to say, now we had time to build wealth. I said, oh, okay. So you need time to build wealth over time, and you need time to put together your formula that you're going to use to build the wealth with, right? So yeah, so if we're talking about freedom, we're talking about buying back our time. I need to generate residual passive income. My number one is real estate, so I can generate income, and you do it over and over and over again until your passive income is more than your earned income. Now you can say, you know what? I can quit. I bought back my time. I freed myself from this job. I gave it back to him and told him, no, thank you. I don't want it anymore. So unless we're on that path, then we're not playing the money game to win. I say in the book, if you're not playing the money game to win, you're playing not to lose. You can never win playing not to lose. You got to play to win and dominate, or you're playing not to lose. It's just either or. It's not hard, But Satan wants to tell us and have us to believe there's an in between. There is no in between. Either free or you're a slave. There is no in between. Kind of, sort of free, kind of, sort of slave. No. Either somebody controls. Here's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in Message to the Black Man. How to make an economic program successful, brother still listening. It is very hard for an economist to plan a wise program and see his plan carried out. Now here it is, because the so-called Negro economics are controlled by the white man. So we got to take back the control of our economics. And that's one thing that they said they'll never do, Brother James. The science of business.
That's right.
Science of mating, science of warfare. If you look at those, they're all one science. Farrakhan said, if you got a business, you better know the warfare on how to protect it. And if you're building a business, you're building a business to outlast yourself, to pass on to your heirs.
That's right.
As an asset. So you got to pick the right mate so they can produce children that will grow up knowing that you got to do this. Everybody else got choices. They can be doctors, lawyers, but you've been given an empire.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can rebel and be like, what's the name over in UK? But you ain't gonna get all the money. You don't get all the money that you're supposed to get in your trust. Because you want to be normal. Okay, well, you be normal, but you ain't about to get all the money like your brother that submits to the expectations of being a member of the royal family, the next prince or king or whatever it is. Right? So yeah, we got to buy back our time. That's the only way we can be free. That's why the minister said, get the money and go to the land.
Yeah.
Go to the land. You can live off the land, the minister said. Everything you need comes from the earth. But we want to do everything else but that. Thank you for your question.
Yes, sir. We'll keep it going. We've got a question here from Brother Tyrone. Another question. He says, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Darrell. Thoroughly enjoy listening and learning from the subject matter tonight. I offer humbly that we as a people have various psychological challenges on being forthright about our true financial condition.
Yeah.
Just as the minister accentuated building the will in our self-improvement study guides, how can we cater to this fear or perhaps false pride?
Well, I don't know if fear is something you should cater to. I don't know how you would do that. Right?
I think he meant how do we deal with it?
Yes.
How do we deal with the fear?
Yeah. How do we
combat it? Yeah.
How do we combat it or counter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, from my experience, brother, the way you deal with fear is knowledge, correct knowledge, right? You'll fear a rattlesnake until you learn what you need to learn of knowledge on how to neutralize that rattlesnake, right? To where it won't bite you, it won't kill you. So now you're not afraid anymore, right? We have been given the knowledge to whereas we shouldn't fear. Farrakhan and the messenger teach Islam erases fear. So we shouldn't let fear stop us. There's a popular saying that the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not that successful people don't fear. They don't let fear control them or stop them from doing what it is that they want to do. Because fear is a natural emotion, So you need the kind of people that understand fear. You remove fear with knowledge, the correct knowledge. And then once you get that correct knowledge, you move forward in spite of that fear. Because if not, brother, Satan gonna frighten us, and then we're gonna be shot. We just gonna be over once he come and shake us and knock on our door, talk about this, the FBI. You're just gonna be done. You're gonna buckle, right? So we face fear. We challenge fear. What did Minister Farrakhan gave an example? He was walking and the bull showed up.
Right. That's it.
I tell you, man, the minister is our example for everything.
For everything, right?
Everything.
Right.
Whatever you talking about, the God came. He came knowing that in 2024 we're gonna have these issues. And he already gave it to us. We just got to go dig down in the treasure chest and find out what we need because it's already there.
All praise is due to Allah.
Allahu Akbar. That's one. Praise be to Allah. Brother Darrell, we had a chance today, me and Brother Student Minister James, actually, and a couple of the other brothers. We went on something that we have in Tampa, quarterly, that's set up by a good friend and sister that helps out in the community tremendously. So she started something that's called the Black Business Bus Tour, and what we do quarterly, we get on and fill up buses, and then we go around to Black-owned business. And she tell us, bring your wallet, bring your purse, let's spend with our people.
That's right. And
it been such a success. Like this been going on for years and years, and to the degree that it was some business that was even on the verge of just calling it quits, but because the bus came through, and thousands of dollars flowed into that business, they was able to stay open.
That's right.
Now you talked about it early, you know, the examples from our Jewish community, from the Jewish community, and learning from them. But oftentimes you don't see that going on within our own community. You know, so we take pride in doing this, and you know, you can see the face light up when the bus stop. Just take a whole bus stop at your business, like everybody getting up, they going into your business. You know, how can we help to change that? The way that we see each other, of course, not spending with each other. You know, we don't. You know, and of course, we talk about the trust issue sometimes that we'll have with blacks. You know, we only get one time to mess up because we don't have customer service in our black-owned business. So, you know, nobody calling, let me speak to somebody for customer service, you know, like, you know, so, but how can we help to promote more so of spending with each other and to be able to see the benefit of, you know, allowing that dollar to circulate within the black community?
Yeah, more of that has to happen, brother. What you talked about, the bus tour.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say very, very humbly, we just need to go back to the times of segregation. The churches played a major role in our economic development.
Yes, sir.
Right? But a wickedly wise enemy has come, right? And hijacked us.
Right.
Everything of ours, music, everything, hijacked it. So we have to, like I said, we have to have a financial consciousness to know what's going on and to know the whys and the enemy that's against us. So we won't be hoodwinked, right? We can see it, the enemy when he come around the corner because somebody in turn told us, you know, look out for this, look out for that, right? Somebody, we need to go to the black banks. I mean, not black banks, but banks that have black presidents and high up and say, hey, come and tell us about how this money go, this SBA money, right? What about this SBA money? So all of us are held accountable. I put a lot of pressure on the black politicians because they're supposed to come back and tell us. They're supposed to call us in the room, tell them, okay, don't tell nobody, but this is how you do it. That's what the mother people do. Hey, go start a company, construction company, because 2-3 years from now, they don't have a road that come through here, right? And I'm over the budget, and I'm gonna give it to you. Oh, okay. So we, like I said, they're playing to win and dominate. We playing not to lose, and we losing every step of the way. But they're winning more and they're dominating more. So the black politicians, see, it's come from self-love. See, if you love somebody, Minister said, love anticipates need. If they love us, they see that we need a need, and they'll feel obligated to go. Because a sick man don't know what he needs; he just know he's sick. It's the doctor that knows what the sick man needs. So it's those of us, like I say, that got all this education. Come on back to the hood, call them over to the corner, say, hey man, look now, SBA now, this is how you get we ain't talking about nothing illegal. This is how you get this SBA money. They got billions about to come down the pike. This is how you get it. And you follow, like, you know, they just giving us a heads up like anybody should do. A lookout man looks out to give the rest of the town a heads up when something is coming. So yes, sir, brother, you got to just do more of that. And it has to be a collective effort, right? Because if we were unified, like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, more powerful than a nuclear or atomic bomb, we can go to the churches in that neighborhood and say, okay, pastor, what's going on now? Got this black business right down the street from you. What's wrong? I mean, just ask them straight. You don't want to support it? You don't believe in black economics?
Come on.
You don't believe? Okay, we'll make a note of that. Okay, we'll just write that down. Okay, another, or whoever it is. Okay, AKAs, got a chapter in this area, Delta, SIG, whatever it is, whoever it is. How are black sororities and fraternities don't have a credit union? I heard AKAs or Deltas got one, but hey, you've been 100 some odd years, supposed to be the smartest and the brightest. It don't dawn on you the importance of us having access to money to where you don't have everywhere you got a chapter, you ain't got no credit union. That don't take rocket science. It just takes self-love. It takes self-love. But that's playing to win and dominate. See, the Jewish people, they strategically put themselves in places to be ears and eyes for the Jewish community, to secure themselves, to make sure things don't move and become a threat to them. They don't wait till the threat comes. They prevent it from coming. So they're in places of finances. And then, so, like I said, I'm almost rest assured, somebody go to them because they got a Jewish name and say, well, how do you feel about the Holocaust? Where you stand on these issues?
That's
okay,
right.
You do? Well, good. We need some help over here. But we got to do the same thing. We're not telling you to do anything illegal. We're just telling you to play, get your checker pieces off the chessboard and put your chess pieces on the chessboard. Because the checkerboard and the chessboard looks exactly the same. The only thing difference is the pieces.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, sir.
Man. What is clearly evident is that there is a disconnect with the people and our leadership. Those who are responsible to steward our growth and development in this country, the politicians, the religious leadership, there's a disconnect. The educational leadership, there's a disconnect. Because how could these heads not work for the benefit of the mass of this body? And we are still in the same condition. So it's got to be a way that the body can enforce the obligation and impose it upon our leadership, our heads, that they can be responsible to the masses that more than likely got them into office.
Right.
Now, I haven't heard anything from the Congressional Black Caucus. I mean, there's a book that is produced by the Urban League, the State of Black America. I think there's some mention there about our political influence or the lack thereof. But there's a serious disconnect, brother. And we've got to find a way to enforce our need and the responsibility for them to fulfill our need. They get in the office, man, and you don't hear anything from them at all where we're concerned.
Right. It's because, Brother James, like I said, we don't understand. Somebody has to come, right? It's just like if I was a magician, what's the magic man? Magician, right? Mm-hmm. If I was a magician, I know the trick. So I ain't impressed with the trick. I know how it's done. But the people in the audience that don't know, they're, ooh, wow, ooh. Somebody got to come and tell them how the trick is being played. So they be like, man, I ain't falling for that no more. But who's going to do it? Surely not the other magicians.
That's right.
They're going to be banned by the other magicians. We trying to make money. Check that out. Yeah. We trying to make money off our magic shows. And you going to turn around and show the audience the trick that's going to mess up from messing up our money? So that's what happened to our politicians, because they don't come back and tell us that it ain't the vote. It's the money. Mm-hmm. In the book, I say, in my book, I say, voting put people in office, but money dictates the policies.
That's right.
All right, Minister Farrakhan told that years ago. Power without economics. It's like symbol without substance. He did that in the early 90s. Man.
That's right. Sure did.
But I mean, the man, he told us. We like midgets in the toes of giants. Mm-hmm. What else you want the man to do? He wants you to tell you want us to tell him. We want him to tell us and do it. That ain't the job of a messenger.
That's right.
Job of a messenger is to deliver a clear message, and it resonate in the heart of those who Allah put in their heart to carry out that message.
Wow.
So that's what that book is about. I'm responsible for what Allah has allowed me to experience, Brother James and Brother Chad and Sister Starla. I just can't hold this to him. I mean, he'll punish me for this. If all I do is just write the book and write another book and write another book, right? I got to do something with it, because sooner or later it's going to fall on the right ear, on the right heart, right? And it's going to take off. That's why we have to understand the power of writing, right? I heard many, many years ago, I heard a statistic that goes something like this. Sister Charlie probably heard it, right? They say the average college graduate reads one book a year. Mm. I'm like, dang, that's average. So I mean, how many how many books they read? If that's everybody, every college graduate reads one book a year. So I used to see these Black authors writing books. I'm like, why are they writing books? Black folks don't read no books. But after time, it dawned on me. I said, oh, it's a marketing piece. Because see, I'm a sales and marketer, real estate investor. So I said, oh, it's a marketing piece, number one. Then I started thinking more deeply, Brother Chad, what did the teaching do for me? It helps me to see things as they are. I said, oh, highly civilized societies understand the importance of literature.
Yeah.
They don't write books to be on a New York bestseller, Amazon bestseller. They write books for recording. They write books so they can control the narrative of their history.
Mm.
And that's why those other people like to write everybody else's book so they can control the narrative of your history.
Mm.
So we got to write books. So we have the research department, right? That's the intelligence. That shows that you're dealing with a highly civilized society where they understand that they have to control their narrative.
Yeah.
So 20, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, somebody writing a report on the Nation of Islam, right? They'll pull books off the shelf, go to the internet, and we haven't written any of the books.
Mm.
That's how history gets distorted.
Think about this.
It gets hijacked.
Right.
But see, that's our fault.
That's a good point.
They did their part.
Mm-hmm.
They narrated your history instead of you narrating your history. That's why, I mean, if you really think about it, every family, every patriarch should write a book for their family. If you ain't got nothing else to give them a book, because your great grandson might run across it and it activates something in their DNA that you put in them 3 generations ago.
Yeah.
Praise be to Allah.
It's not a book about money. It's not a book about money.
That's
right. That's right. Praise be to Allah.
Yes.
Yes.
All
Good,
right.
Chad.
We've got
Oh, go ahead.
Another
I'm sorry.
question? Yeah, come on with them.
Go ahead.
yes, sir. Listen, Sister Emily has another question. She said, Brother Darrell, I have tried to find those like-minded in my family and NOI, and they have excuses. Have you found those 4 to 5 like-minded people in the NOI or in your family? And with that, I could, Brother Darrell, I mean, we of course, keep asking, keep reaching out, but what type of advice would you give if, we can't try to, find those 4 to 5 like-minded to do something together?
Don't quit.
That's
Winners
right.
never win and winners never quit. Chapter 10 has a section in here called You're Fighting for Your Life. Right? So you're going to tell me that 7 billion people on the planet, we can't find 4? You trying to tell me that we got this with the world in our hand, talking about God got the whole world in his hand? We got a lot of it in our hand too. And we can't find 4? See, that's what we have to understand, brothers and sisters. The white man has no sympathy for us anymore.
That's right.
Right? Because there's no excuse. We live in an information age. If we don't want to know something, right, it's because we don't want to know it. It's right here in our hands. It's right here in our fingertips.
That's right.
Whatever you want to know is right here. So if there's anything we don't know, it's because we don't want to know it. And there is in truth, there is no sympathy for a person that won't do for self. Don't be like Muhammad told us that. Nobody respects a beggar.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So we begging and begging and begging it right here. This internet has done something very, very, just like the enemy can use it for destruction, we can use it to unite, right? And come together and do some things. You can not tweet anymore. You can X. That's interesting. He called it X, right? So you can communicate with people around the world.
That's right. That's right.
So if you have the whole access to the whole world and you can't find 4, I humbly say, don't worry about it. Don't put that additional stress on yourself. Don't do that. We'll have a stroke and heart attack. But it can be done. I say that sarcastically, but you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. We have to expand our thinking. We have to think abundance. We have to think winning and dominate. Because when you think winning and dominate, you know if there's a will, there's a way. If other people can do it, I can do it. It got to be a way. I just have to figure it out.
That's right.
If nobody doing it, that's one thing. If nobody uniting, that's one thing. But if there's other groups and everything, it's gonna be harder because ain't nobody been through it. We know all of that. But once you say yes, I'm in, you know what you're dealing with, then go after and go hard and be determined. And Allah will bless us. He will say, look, the scripture says, where 2 or more are gathered together in my name. It didn't say
go ahead, brother.
I would say 2.
Yes, sir.
So am I in the midst of thee. So how many are we looking for?
Yes,
I guess the message said 4 because out of them 4, you might get 2 good ones. I don't know.
Come on.
But God reduced it to 2 because you is 1 and somebody else is 2.
That's right.
If you can't sell your idea to one more person, then you might have to look at your idea.
Yes.
Or look at how many people you sharing it with.
That's
remember, it's not the masses. It's not the masses.
Point, man.
It's not the masses. Don't look for the masses. The masses is hoodwinked and bamboozled. Minister Farrakhan said, the best of us will come with a word. The rest of us, I have to get chastised.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I mean, the minister told you again. So what we looking for? They just going to get chastised. That they chose that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a free choice. They choose not to unite. Right? All this war going on and stuff. Iran involved now. Man, I don't know.
Right.
Time to win and dominate, brothers and sisters, because
Absolutely.
this thing is getting bad. See, when you get in that money space, then you start realizing, you know that they're lying to the people. This country is bankrupt. It is bankrupt. It has no money. And the rich know that. They know that. That's why why you think they got places in other countries? Homes. See, that's what I'm saying. They getting these things because they want to have the luxury when this civil war breaks out. They gonna get on a private jet and they fly to their land somewhere in Jamaica. What we gonna be stuck to fight and die because we ain't playing nothing. We ain't got no country land right outside of Atlanta or Texas. We can't even get away from them people, so Allah can kill them in groups because we out somewhere. That's why I say we got to separate. You got to have money to separate. That's money, right. But whole food costs money. Whole food costs money. It's a sin to be broke in America. Mm-hmm. See, we got that thing twisted. It's a sin to be broke in America. You're more likely to do crimes and sin if you don't have money. Because you're doing things for the wrong reason, right? If a nice luxury car can make you feel good, then you go get a nice luxury car. But if you don't have the money, now you got to go drink or go to some club and spend $6-7 to feel good. Mm-hmm. Go get with a woman or a man and feel good because you don't have the means to do it in a righteous way. You can't get on a plane and go somewhere nice and bathe in the sun and lay on the beach because you ain't got no money. Because money is evil. Money is bad. Mm. Money is energy. Money is energy. You can attract money to yourself. Mm. It's a vibration. See, I talk about that in the book. Vibration. It's a vibration. Everything is energy. You can attract money to yourself. See, we don't get into that in the nation because, we get lost real quick when we start talking about money, right?
Unfortunately.
We flip this thing into a prosperity thing, but that's why we got to keep it on the spiritual.
Yes,
sir. We can't, that money got to be right behind it, though.
Right.
Money got to be right behind it, all right?
Praise be to Allah.
And this is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is saying, has said, and continues to say, that the universe is a giant mammary gland.
He said that.
And we just need to pull from it to enjoy what the mammary gland has to offer. The universe is there waiting for us to pull on it. As we approach, Brother Darrell, the last 5 minutes until we reach our closing announcement time, I'd like to make this announcement, if I can. For those of you who enjoyed and are enjoying our dear brother's distillation of this wonderful and needed information, we're pleased to announce that our dear brother is going to be a member of the Closing the Gap Broadcast Network, where you'll be able to hear from him weekly with this information.
That's right.
All praises
due to Allah.
Yeah. All praises due to Allah. And we are growing as a network. And as we grow, and I'm putting this out to everyone, we're going to need your help. We're going to need your expertise in production, in graphics, in hosting. We're going to need all of that as we grow as a network. So please get in touch with us at closingthegapbroadcast@gmail.com. Share with us what you have to offer, if in fact you want to offer it. And if you'd like to become a part of the network, please reach us again at that same email address, closingthegapbroadcast@gmail.com. Send us your content, an excerpt or synopsis of the content you wish to broadcast. Let us know what you have to offer. We're looking for help and we are growing. So we welcome you. We want to welcome you publicly, Brother Darrell, to the network.
Thank you.
All praises due to Allah. Please be on the lookout for when our brother will be airing on a weekly basis so that we can hear more of this liberating truth. Thank you,
Praise
Brother
be to
Darrell.
Allah. Thank you. Thank you.
All
Yes,
praises
sir.
due to Allah. Well,
Praise be to Allah. Yes, yes, yes.
do
If
we
I
have
can, Brother James, let me just say and encourage
Yes, sir.
everybody to please go to my website, themoneygamebook.com.
Right.
Fill out the information, get your 2 free gifts, and that way we can stay in contact with each other because the book is just the beginning,
Yeah.
right? It's going to go from a book by Allah's grace to a movement
Mm.
because that's what time it is. It's never too late to do the right thing. So, so make sure you go to themoneygamebook.com, put in the information, get your 2 free gifts, and then the page after that, you'll be able to go to Amazon and click on it and get it. But I want to capture your name and email address before you go to Amazon. Because if you go directly to Amazon, see, that's what I'm saying. You got to know the game. Go directly to Amazon. Amazon got all your information.
Yeah.
Oh,
you go through my website now. I got your information.
that's right.
And then Amazon, I can put them to work, and they can print the book and send it out like they send it to Brother James. See, I didn't have to do nothing.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Well, we do have the book. We did go to Amazon, and you do have my information. So I'll be awaiting my 2 free gifts. If you don't mind.
Yes.
All praises due to Allah.
Due to Allah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. You brought a wealth of information, needed information to us, and we look forward to your regular broadcast of this wonderful information.
Yes,
all
sir.
Praises due
All
to
praises
Allah.
due to Allah.
So before we close out, any statements that our co-hosts would like to make, and then of course we leave the last statement time for you, brother Darrell, to make your closing remarks. But Sister Starla, Brother Chad, go right ahead.
No, sir. We have definitely been thoroughly fed, and I'm on your website right now, brother. So I will be filling out the form as well. So, like Brother James, I can get my free gifts and then order a hard copy.
You know we like freebies.
I know, right? But thank you, Brother Darrell, for sharing with us this evening.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you.
Praise be to Allah. Likewise, dear brother, this was a change up for Closing the Gap. But as we could see the response come from our listening audience, it's well needed and well deserved.
That's right.
We do welcome you, dear brother, to the Closing the Gap family. We are a family. We expand and expand. I think the Quran talks about the expansion.
That's right.
I think that's, we filling in the gap for that. So we closing that gap, and we need, all hands on deck. We ask our listening audience to make sure that we support our dear brother as we supported him tonight. Share, and make sure for those who haven't gotten the chance to go on our YouTube page, please go on there and subscribe to the Closing the Gap channel. All right, so you can get all the updates and notification every time that we're coming out. So we thank y'all for tuning in. We thank you, dear brother. May Allah continue to bless you with success. The book is wonderful. We just cracked open so much of it, just a portion tonight. So he got so much more that, he can really, really go into. Yes. So we look forward to it, dear brother. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
All praises due to Allah. And don't forget to go to the website, ctgbnetwork.com. Go to that website. Give us your critique, if you will, on what you think the website might need, how it can be improved, or if you just want to be complimentary, we like that too. So by all means, go to the website, ctgbnetwork.com. All praises due to Allah. And while we're on the closing announcements, but first let me give Brother Darrell the opportunity to say a closing remark of such you'd like to do.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother James. Thank you, Brother Chad, Sister Starla. Thank you, first of all, for allowing me to come on as a guest this evening. I really, really enjoyed myself. I could have gone for a couple of hours because this is what I believe Allah has chosen for me to do and give back to my nation. Right. And I'm looking forward to the broadcast, the Money Game show.
That's right.
We can go in deeper. We can exhaust it, right? We don't talk enough about winning and dominating, right? But we have to do that, brothers and sisters. Now is the time. We've been here too long that's still, trying to get trinkets and stuff. It's time to play chess, and stop playing checkers.
Go ahead.
So the final word I would say, and I'm not wise, I'm not smart. I just try to be a good vessel, right? 6 words have been given to us.
That's right.
By the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the exalted Christ.
Go ahead, brother.
Accept your own and be yourself. And what is yourself? Yourself is a righteous Muslim. And we have to, now it's time for us to take our rightful place in the earth. And that is rulers. In order to be rulers and gods, that means you command everything within your reach and within your power. And if money is within your reach and your power, then we should understand we have the power to command it to do what we want it to do and not it command us. That's right. How it has to be. All right. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, brother. All praise is due to Allah. And of course, we look forward to your regular broadcasting. We're going to learn a lot. We anticipate learning a great deal. I'd also like to ask those, first of all, thank all of you who attended this broadcast this evening and all the other previous broadcasts that you attend. Thank you. Thank you. And you've given the greatest amount of charity that you can give. And that, of course, is your time and your attention. But as we expand, and we are expanding, we need your financial help. So those of you who wish to express your support financially to the network, you can do so by going to Cash App, $CTG Broadcast for Cash App. And for Zelle, you can go to Closing the Gap Broadcast at gmail.com. And for those of you who use PayPal, you can also go to jkingdom1 at AOL.com. You see it scrolling on the bottom of the page. We need your help. As we expand, our expenses expand. So all praise is due to Allah for those of you who have given in the past, and we encourage you to continue your charitable donation to the network, and we will produce for you a network worthy of your time, worthy of your attention, and it looks like we're well on the way. Thank you. Thank you all. Praise be to Allah. I'm going to pass the baton to my dear sister Starla for her closing announcements.
Thank you, Brother James. We want to thank once again our CTG family for tuning in this evening. I would like to encourage you to visit finalcall.com. That's www.finalcall.com. There you can click on to take out a digital subscription to the Final Call newspaper. Or, of course, when you are in any city around the country where there's a mosque or a study group, you will find the mighty FOI with a physical edition of the paper. So you want to make sure you pick up one, not only for yourself, but pick up a couple of copies for a family member or a friend. On that very same website, you can visit store.finalcall.com, and there you can order books and messages by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as well as other student ministers in the Nation of Islam. And last but not least, on that very same website, if you click on Final Call Radio, you can listen to excerpts of messages from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as well as musical selections. And I would like to add that I believe starting today, it is the Final Call, the annual radiothon. So you want to make sure that you visit Final Call Radio and please give a donation so that we can continue to get 24/7 of light, life, and power, the wisdom of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as demonstrated and taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And with that, I will pass it to Student Minister Chad Muhammad for his announcements.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, Sister Starla. We are very thankful for those that are tuning in, whether it's your very first, second, or third time. We also just want to encourage everyone. If you heard what you heard and believe this to be the truth and it's good for our people, we want to encourage you to go to www.noi.org/join and fill out this digital form that you see right here on the screen so that someone can get in touch with you and that you can learn more about the Nation of Islam and join the orientation class. Once again, that's www.noi.org/join. All right. And if by chance, if you're in the Bay Area, we want to invite you out to Muhammad Mosque number 47 to hear our dear brother, the brother that was asking them powerful questions tonight, Student Minister Tyrone Muhammad, with this special message tomorrow. May Allah God bless us with the light of understanding. So please come out and check us out. All right. And for those that's in the surrounding cities, we ask that you report to your nearest study group or mosque to get more educated, to learn more about the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad from one of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's ministers. Please tune in. You can go to www.noi.org to listen live tomorrow. And you see on the screen the different channels, times, for different locations around the world. All right. So we thank everybody once again. May Allah continue to bless us all. As I turn it back over to our dear brother, Student Minister James, the floor is yours, dear brother.
Well, thank you, Brother Student Minister Chad Muhammad, and thank you, Sister Starla, and thank our esteemed and honored guest, Brother Darrell Muhammad. The Money Game. Go to themoneygamebook.com. Make sure you get a copy. I'm going to get ensconced in this book so that I can definitely play this game. I need to play it better than I've been playing it, to tell you the truth.
That's right. We all do.
All praise is due to Allah. Thank you, Brother Darrell. And thank you, our viewing and listening audience. Tune in next week, same time, same station, for another inspirational, instructional, edifying, inspiring broadcast on Closing the Gap broadcast. Saturday, same time, same station. Thank you, and may Allah continue to bless us all. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.